What's up everyone and welcome back to the channel. Let's dive into our first news. Mirab's coach has stepped forward to address a major concern ahead of UFC 320, where Mirab is set to defend his title against Corey Sandhagen. With the fight just around the corner, fans have been buzzing about Mirab's comments, especially after he mentioned wanting to secure a knockout in his upcoming bout. That statement has raised questions about whether Mirab might step away from his relentless wrestling heavy style, which has been the foundation of his success, and instead chase a finish on the feet. Some even wondered if this could be the opening Sandhagen needs to capitalize on when the octagon lands in Las Vegas for UFC 3. During a recent interview with MMA Fighting, Mirab's coach John Wood was very clear and reassuring. He stated with confidence that nothing is changing in their approach. We're not changing anything. Nothing changes. What he does every single day, what you see in the cage, that's what he's going to continue to do. We are just adding on. We're adding layers to that, Wood explained. The message was simple. Mirab's identity as a fighter will remain the same. His trademark style of relentless pressure, takedowns, and grinding pace will not be abandoned just for the sake of hunting a flashy knockout. Wood went further to emphasize that there would never be a moment where he instructs Mirab to abandon his strengths. There will never be a point in time where I tell Mirab, hey, go out there and knock this guy out. Just keep standing, don't go to the ground. That's not gonna happen. That's not our style, he said firmly. He highlighted a common pitfall that many wrestlers have experienced in MMA. A wrestler gets a knockout, suddenly realizes they can throw punches effectively, and then shifts their entire fighting style to striking. While it may work initially, it often ends up costing fighters who stray too far from their bread and butter. Wood pointed out that he's seen it countless times. Wrestlers fall in love with their hands after scoring a knockout and forget what brought them success in the first place. He even said he could name 10 fighters off the top of his head who went down that exact path, getting a knockout or two before permanently altering their approach inside the cage. For Wood, that is not an option when it comes to Mirab. The formula is proven, the style works, and their focus remains on refining what they already do best while adding small improvements rather than overhauling the game plan. As UFC 320 approaches, Mirab's mindset is locked in on Sandhagen. He is determined to maintain the pressure-heavy style that has carried him to the top of the bantamweight division, while still keeping the possibility open for a finish if the opportunity naturally presents itself. According to his coach, there is no pressure for Mirab to prove anything with a knockout. Instead, the goal remains the same: dominate, control, and find a way to win, despite the focus on Sandhagen. Mirab has also expressed interest in getting one more title defense in before the year closes. If everything goes his way in Las Vegas, fans may not have to wait long to see him back inside the octagon again. Before moving to the next news, we have one quick request for you. We are constantly working on improving our content to earn your love and support. That is why we truly appreciate it if you could take just a moment to leave a like on this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell icon so you never miss an update here on MMA Pulse News. Moving on to another news, Garry has stirred things up yet again by taking aim at former welterweight champion Leon Edwards, calling him mentally weak. This came shortly after Carlos Prates scored a big win over Jeff Neal and immediately used his post-fight moment to call out Edwards. At that time, Garry was vocal about his belief that Edwards wouldn't take the fight, especially not on short notice in Rio. However, to the surprise of many, Edwards did accept, and now the fight between Prates and Edwards is officially set for UFC 322 at Madison Square Garden. Despite that, Garry hasn't backed down from his criticism. In fact, he doubled down, claiming that Edwards is nearing retirement and doesn't have the same fire he once did. During an interview with GameShop, Garry explained his thoughts in detail. He said, "I feel like Leon Edwards is on his way out, and has been on his way out. When you watch the fight with Bilal and you see a Leon Edwards in that corner, he doesn't look like he wants to be there. His team should be there for him and say, mate, I think you've lost the love for this. I think you're done." But I don't think he has a team strong enough or vocal enough to say what needs to be said. Mentally, he's weak. These words from Garry cut deep, painting a picture of a fighter who in his eyes has lost passion for the sport. Garry went even further, suggesting that Edwards never had much of a fighter spirit to begin with. He added, "I feel like his love is gone from the game, and there wasn't much of a fighter in there in the first place. And I definitely don't think there's any more. I'm shocked that he agreed to fight with Carlos Prates. I think he's gonna get knocked out, put unconscious, and we're never gonna see Leon Edwards again." That bold statement set the MMA world buzzing, as fans debated whether Garry was speaking harsh truths or simply stirring controversy to keep his name in the headlines. The stakes for this fight are massive. For Prates, this is a golden chance to step closer to a title shot, and defeating a former champion like Edwards could catapult him right into the top of the division. For Edwards, it's about redemption and halting what critics, including Garry, are calling his free fall down the welterweight rankings. With UFC 322 set in one of the biggest venues in MMA, Madison Square Garden, this matchup carries more weight than just another fight on the card. It could determine the trajectory of both fighters' futures. Garry's comments only add fuel to the fire. Known for his outspoken personality, Garry has never shied away from taking digs at fighters contenders in his division, but in this case his words are aimed directly at a man who once ruled the welterweight division. Whether Edwards is truly past his prime, as Garry suggests, or whether he still has what it takes to compete at the highest level. Moving on to another news, Olberg has sent a clear warning to Dominick Reyes ahead of their highly anticipated clash this weekend. The two light heavyweights will headline UFC Fight Night in Perth, with Olberg looking to cement his claim for a title shot and Reyes hoping to re-establish himself in the division after some tough setbacks. Both men understand what's at stake, and with the spotlight on them in the main event, the pressure is immense. For Olberg, this is a golden opportunity to step up, prove he belongs among the top contenders, and move closer to a championship fight. For Reyes, it's about redemption, showing the world that he can still compete with the very best and make another run at the title. During a recent interview with MMA Junkie, Olberg spoke with confidence, sending a message to Reyes and making it clear that while there is mutual respect, nothing will stop him from securing a victory. "It's a big opportunity for me. I'll take it with both arms, grab it, and make a big thing of it. Come Saturday night, I'll show the world," Olberg said. He acknowledged that Reyes has done well to reach this point in his career and gave him credit for the battles he's fought. "He's done himself very well to get himself where he is. I do pay my respects to him. Respect is given where it's due. Going in there, that's all I have for him is the respect. Hopefully after the fight we get to share a beer or something." Despite the words of respect, Olberg made it clear that respect ends once the octagon door closes. He believes his skill set, composure, and willingness to dig deep when the fight gets gritty will make the difference. "I'm technical, but when it comes to the nitty-gritty, I know that I have heart within me. If it comes down to the 5-rounders and we have to throw some leather and there's a lot of blood and missing teeth, then so be it." Those words reflect a fighter who's ready for whatever direction the bout may take, whether it's a technical chess match or a brutal war of attrition. The timing of this matchup adds even more significance, with Magomed Ankalaev and Alex Pereira set to run it back in their rematch. The light heavyweight title picture is wide open. The UFC will be keeping a close eye on which fighter delivers the most impressive performance, as that could determine who's next in line for a title shot. Alongside that, the upcoming clash between Garry Prochazka and Roundtree at UFC 320 adds another layer of intrigue to the division. For Olberg, this fight is his chance to show he's ready for the biggest stage. For Reyes, it's a fight that could save his career and put him back in the conversation. Both men know that the outcome will carry massive consequences. Olberg's warning was delivered with calm but serious intent, and come fight night in Perth, fans will find out if he can back up his words inside the cage. Moving on to another news, Paddy Pimblett has once again found himself at the center of attention, and this time it's because he fired back at the MMA community. Ever since his UFC debut, fans and analysts have questioned his decision to gain a significant amount of weight between fights. The conversation has often circled around whether these massive weight cuts could eventually impact his chin and overall performance in the octagon. Despite the criticism, Pimblett has remained firm in his stance. According to him, although he enjoys indulging in food outside of fight camp, making the lightweight limit of 55 pounds has never been a serious issue for him. He's never missed weight in his career at 155, and he insists that the process isn't as brutal as many people suggest. In a recent video with Olberg, Pimblett didn't hold back and fired shots directly at the MMA community. He explained that he doesn't struggle to make the lightweight limit, emphasizing that the weight cut is manageable and that his love for food should not be confused with being unprofessional. He openly admitted that one day, when he gets a bit older, he will likely move up to another division. But right now, he believes that staying at lightweight is not only realistic but also the best choice for his career. His words were sharp and confident, making it clear that he's tired of the same criticism being thrown his way. While speaking about weight cuts and his future in the division, Pimblett also turned his attention to fellow lightweight contenders. He specifically mentioned Ilia, who has been in the spotlight after moving up to lightweight. Pimblett made it clear that he views Arman as a much tougher test than Ilia. He described Arman as a proper lightweight, someone who naturally fits into the division with the size, strength, and skills that come with it. In his view, Arman's grappling ability sets him apart, making him stylistically a harder fight than Ilia. The way Pimblett framed it, he wasn't dismissing Ilia's skills, but he was confident that Arman presents a greater challenge in terms of style and matchups. This type of comment will no doubt stir the pot, especially considering Ilia has been linked to major fights and continues to grow in popularity. For Pimblett, these statements could be part of the mental warfare that so often surrounds upcoming fights, or simply his honest perspective on the lightweight hierarchy. Either way, his remarks about Arman and Ilia are guaranteed to generate discussions among fans and analysts. As the UFC heads into the last few pay-per-view events of the year, the big question is whether Pimblett will return to action before 2025 comes to an end. The UFC has several big cards left on the calendar, and there's speculation about whether he might be featured on one of them, or if he'll wait for the first batch of events in 2026 under the Paramount era. Whatever the case may be, Pimblett has made one thing absolutely clear. He is not struggling to make lightweight, and he's more than ready to prove it whenever he steps back into the octagon. Moving on to another news, Conor has once again shaken up the fight world with a bold statement that that only he could make. The former two-division champion has made it clear that if the UFC wants him to compete on the highly anticipated White House card, the price tag will not come cheap. Conor took to social media this morning and demanded a staggering $100 million along with 100 golden visas for his family, friends, and close associates. He wrote, $100 million to fight at the White House along with 100 US golden visas for myself and family and friend. I look very forward to entertaining the fight world once again. A pleasure I never take for granted. It was yet another moment that reminded everyone of the unique way Conor commands attention both inside and outside of the cage. The timing of this announcement is significant. For weeks, rumors have been swirling that Conor is being lined up to fight Michael Chandler on this card, with even Dana White hinting that the Irish superstar is locked in. Now, with this demand, Conor has once again proven that he knows exactly how to grab headlines and keep the spotlight on himself. He wasn't finished there, though. Just hours after making the financial and visa demands, he doubled down by teasing fans with a fiery message. Conor tweeted that he has so much aggression built up that it needs to be released. He promised to throw harder and more venomous than ever before, adding that in his recent training sessions, he has been punching with more power than at any point in his career. He described his shots as whistling through the air like rockets, declaring that it's the very reason he holds every fiscal record in the book of fighting. "See you soon, kids," he signed off, making sure to leave fans buzzing with anticipation. For Conor, it was a mix of vintage bravado and genuine hunger, the kind of words that make fight fans believe we might just see him return in the most explosive way possible. And if words weren't enough, Conor then released training footage that showed him back in the gym, hammering the pads with his trademark sharpness and speed. It was a clear reminder that while negotiations and demands are being made, the work behind the scenes is very real. The combination of his training clips and those bold statements only fueled speculation that his return is closer than ever. This saga has once again shown why Conor is unlike any other fighter. He knows how to turn a negotiation into an event, how to make fans talk, and how to build anticipation with just a few carefully chosen words. Whether it's through outrageous demands, fiery promises, or explosive training footage, he continues to be the most polarizing and headline-grabbing figure in combat sports. The UFC White House card is already massive, but with Conor involved, it instantly becomes historic. Whether his $100 million demand is met or not, the fact remains that Conor has placed himself at the very center of the conversation. And that's exactly where he wants to be. Moving on to another news, Mirab has revealed why he truly hated Petr Yan, and the story goes much deeper than just a simple fight rivalry inside the octagon. While Mirab has recently been caught up in a feud with Umar over the last few years, he explained in a recent appearance on Daniel Cormier's YouTube channel that the one fighter he really held personal hatred for was Yan. According to Mirab, his issues with Yan weren't just about fighting. There were moments that left him with a bad impression long before they ever crossed paths inside the UFC cage. Mirab recalled that before he had even made his way into the UFC spotlight, Yan carried himself with an attitude that immediately rubbed him the wrong way. He described a moment when he and Aljo were in Arizona staying at a hotel while Yan was also there. Mirab said he didn't think Yan even knew who he was at that point, but Yan gave them this cold stare, like a bully, and looked at both him and Aljo as if he wanted to intimidate them. For Mirab, that look was unforgettable. "I saw him in a hotel, I don't think he even knows me, but I was with Aljo and he looked at us like a bully, like he wanted to kill us. I was like, bro, who are you? What do you want?" That moment stayed with Mirab, leaving a sour taste in his mouth and sparking the start of his dislike for Yan. But the tension didn't stop there. For Mirab, there was a much deeper and more personal layer tied to geopolitical issues. He explained to Cormier that being from Georgia, his country has been directly impacted by Russia's actions, with around 20% of Georgia's territory occupied by Russian forces. Since Yan is Russian, Mirab admitted that this element only added fuel to the fire, making the rivalry far more personal for him than for most fighters. "Russia has occupied 20% of my country's territory. It's political and it's personal for me," Mirab said, making it clear that his dislike wasn't just about MMA competition but also tied to national pride and real-world struggles. Over the years, the feud between Mirab and Yan became one of the more intense rivalries in the bantamweight division, especially after Mirab defeated Yan in dominant fashion. That win not only solidified his position as one of the top fighters in the world, but also gave him a sense of justice in a rivalry that had both personal and professional weight. Still, Mirab admits that those feelings of hate toward Yan were genuine, and they were born out of both personal experiences and larger political circumstances that go beyond MMA. Currently, Yan is ranked number 3 in the bantamweight division, and is riding a 3-fight win streak, working his way back into title contention. With Mirab preparing to defend his belt against Cory Sandhagen, the possibility of running it back with Yan is not out of the question. If Mirab gets past Sandhagen, fans may very well see this heated rivalry revisited, and given everything Mirab has shared about why he hated Yan, it's clear that their story is far from over. That's it from MMA Pulse News. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe for daily MMA news.